back. I think we can. All right, ready to go. We can go on the record.
On the record.
Thank you. Good morning. This is the December 8th, 2022 meeting of the Syracuse Board of Review. This hearing is being held via video conference call over WebEx at the following locations: the Hughes State Office Building, 333 East Washington Street, the main hearing room, first floor, Syracuse, New York, 13202, and New York State Department of State, 1 Commerce Building, 99 Washington Ave, conference room 505, Albany, New York, 12210. The time now is 9:33, and this hearing is officially open. The members of the board are to my right, Andrew Garlock, to my far left, Gail Swistak, to my immediate left, Jeffrey Hinderlaker, and let's see, Jackie Coons, are you here?
I'm here.
Okay, and Andy Ellis, are you here?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, I'm just sitting here looking for oh, Andy, you're in Albany? Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I am.
Okay, for the court reporter, Andy Ellis is via WebEx. He's in the picture with the label ALP99. You see him okay? Okay, so when Andy votes, he'll be raising his hand. And Jackie is also there, and when Jackie, she will be sitting in on our last case because Ms. Swistak has to recuse herself. So she will not be involved in the first 2 cases, but she will be involved in the last case. Okay. Danielle, did you understand okay, great. So for hearing this particular case, Andy Ellis will be hearing our first case involving holy smoke. Let me go back to the narrative. So we'll now hear the scheduled petitions. When you speak, please address the board and give your name, title, and legal address so that a court reporter can have all the information requested. We may have to stop from time to time to consult with our technical staff. In making comments to the board, please provide a descriptive narrative on the matters referring to your exhibits to enable a court reporter to enter these into the record. So our first hearing is in the matter of Holy Smoke Stony Creek. This is petition 2022-0490. This case was adjourned previous month, so the applicants could come back and gather additional information for the board. So let's have the applicants. Where are you? There you are. You're on. The applicants are here via WebEx. Could you introduce yourselves and for the court reporter and state your names and address?
My name is Magdalena Tarpinian. I'm the owner of Holy Smoke Stony Creek, and here is my husband.
I'm Douglas Tarpinian, 438 County Road 22, Earlville, New York.
Okay. And is your architect here with you today?
Yeah, he was supposed to be there today. I don't know if he's already there.
Okay, let's see. We don't see him.
He was supposed to be there in person, and I think on the email it said that we're gonna be a second case, so he might be running a little late. I spoke to him yesterday. He said he's coming.
Okay. Do we need to wait for him, Mr. DiTullio?
He did have new plans.
He has new plans.
All right.
That's good. I believe he submitted the new plans.
Okay. All right. Are these new plans in the record, Mr. DiTullio?
Yes, they are. You guys received that?
Okay. Thank you. All right. Do we have the code enforcement official here? I don't see them here. Mr. DiTullio, are they going to be present?
I don't know.
Because we had some questions for them at the last meeting. I didn't know if we had any follow.
We had an update. I forwarded an email.
Okay. All right.
saying that he had either no positive or negative, no opinion either way.
Okay. So, for our board members, this case, just to refresh, involves a assembly occupancy that was constructed with plans to install a sprinkler system that was, upon design, insufficient to provide fire protection for this building, and the applicants are seeking relief from providing a sprinkler system for this building. At our last hearing, we asked the applicants to go back and get us updated estimate on what it would cost to install a fire protection system, a sprinkler system in this building. And I believe the applicants have submitted an estimate. It is part of the record for the cost of a new sprinkler system. Could you just refresh us, how much was the cost of the new sprinkler system?
It was $220,000 roughly. It was 111 for the excavation and running the lines to the building, and it was 103,000 for the piping and a pump and that kind of stuff.
Okay. And how much, for my clarification, I think we asked it in the previous, but I don't, in our previous hearing, how much did you, have you paid to construct this building? How much have you invested in this already?
It's a little over 600,000, 700,000, yeah.
Okay. And do these drawings that have been submitted, these are accurately reflect of the current conditions in the building?
Can you repeat that?
Do the drawings that have been submitted, since we don't have your architect here, do the
Yes.
accurately reflect of the existing conditions? Because the previous drawings did not.
Yes, that's correct. So at this point, we have 4 exit doors. So we have an exit door on each wall of the building. Each of them has an exit sign, and actually the panel came 2 days ago, so the fire detection system is completed.
Okay.
So each exit door's got the, I think it's called pole system, the little red box next to the door. So that has been completed. We added another exit doors on the right side of the building, which is finished with 4 layers of 5/8 sheetrock X-rated. We also did the ceiling, which's got 2 layers of sheetrock. There is 1 little door going to the storage, which is fire rated. So all of that has been completed. We have all fire extinguishers mounted on the walls with the signs per the design of the architect. So that has been done. What else? I think that, the generator. We have ordered the generator. It should be done within 2 weeks. I just talked to our installer electrician a couple days ago. He said the generator is on the way, so it should be done within 2 weeks at the max.
Okay. You did a lot of work, which we did not ask you to. We were just looking for information, but the new information you provide is certainly helpful to understand where you are with your project.
Yes, it's been a very long time. We are trying to move forward.
And did you submit your plans for your fire alarm system to the code enforcement official, and were they approved?
I am not sure if our architect submitted them to the code enforcement.
Mr. Chairman, I said Sutton's here and he's from county codes.
Okay.
I'm sorry, whoever was speaking, can you speak up? I didn't hear you.
That was Mr. Getulio speaking. He was telling me that Mr. Isaiah Sutton, who is in this room, is representing Shenango County Codes. Mr. Sutton, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. I apologize. I'm actually at code training today. My last chance to finish my hours for the year. So, you know, I know Dave Gorman, who is oversees code enforcement for our office, did speak with a fire alarm company last week, I believe. And it sounds like the fire alarm came in ahead of schedule because they were kind of looking at just after the first of the year for that to be delivered. So that sounds like good news. I can't speak whether or not they reviewed a plan on that.
Okay, so you don't know if you received plans and that they were approved or not?
No, I don't think that we have.
Okay. Are there smoke detectors as part of this fire alarm system in the
Yes.
space?
Yes, they are.
Okay, because I'm not seeing on the drawing I have here, so.
Yes, they are. I talked to the M&S Fire Protection. They said we don't need any other smoke detectors. There is a CO2 detector installed as well.
COs detector, okay. All right, let me pull our board here. Do you have any questions for our applicant?
Where was the generator placed?
The generator is gonna be placed right on the other side of the wall where the electrical panel is on the interior. So as you are looking on the right side, there is a storage room. So it's close to the men's bathroom. It's on the other wall. It's on the other side of the wall of the men's bathroom. So it's a far right side.
You're putting it inside the building? How are you venting that?
We can put, it's gonna be outside on a concrete pad.
Outside. Okay, I thought you said inside. Sorry.
No, it's gonna be outside on a concrete pad.
Okay. Thank you.
One of the issues that the board had discussed was the door width compliance and door width weight, etc. See that the door one is showing 100 inches wide. Panic bars open with one finger push. That door has been evaluated because it is, I believe, over at least the prescriptive width that we see in the code.
I'm sorry, this is the court reporter again. Once you said evaluated, everything cut out and I didn't catch that for the record.
Okay. The board had previously requested that the exit doors be evaluated due to their width, their size. The door one in particular was over the prescriptive width in the code. And so it was, if that door has been evaluated for its size and weight and requirements, and what we're doing with that door.
So the architect came to the site, to the venue, and he took a lot of pictures, and I believe he sent a video. So the doors are very easily open. I was able to open it with the pinky finger. So we didn't really weight the doors. I cannot really tell you how heavy they are, but they open very easily. And I believe he took a video of the doors being opened.
Mr. Garlock, do you have any questions?
Mine was also in relation to the door with there for D1. It's a double door shown at 100 inches wide. There is a note here too for the building with section 1010.1.1. Max lead 40 inches wide. How we forward on that.
Yeah, the doors don't appear to be compliant. Okay. Mr. Sutton, we have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Have your inspectors verified the width of the door D1 on our drawing, which is the main door? We believe it's too wide. The lead width is too wide. That's why we were.
I don't believe we have verified that.
Fine.
I mean, it's something we can definitely look at and verify.
All right.
I believe they are 48 inches. I think the architect measured them. It should be in the documents. I know he was measuring them when he was here, so I don't know if he submitted it or not.
Okay.
I believe each half is 48 inches, but I'm not 100% at this point. I would have to double check.
Per the architect's stamped drawing that was submitted for the record, the drawing shows the door is 100 inches wide. That would put each lead at roughly 50 inches wide.
Yes, that sounds correct.
Mr. Ellis, do you have any questions for our applicant?
I wasn't in on the first part of this. I just want to understand, the building is being used at the moment, and these are modifications, or is this all new construction?
This was all new construction.
Okay,
And they do not have a certificate of occupancy. They
okay,
were provided a short-term TCO for one event, if my understanding is right, but it does not have a C of O. It is a new
Okay.
structure. It was constructed, approved by the code enforcement department, it did issue them a building permit. There were fire protection plans developed and signed in prior to construction.
Yeah.
And somewhere, my understanding, somewhere along the process, it was determined that the fire protection was not adequately designed for the space, as well as there was a cost factor that was becoming apparent. So at our previous hearing, the board had questions relative to Urbex's travel distance, the sprinkler design, and costs for what a properly designed sprinkler system would, as compared to the building. Unfortunately, this probably never should have been constructed until the proper design and plan review of the fire protection system been completed, but that seems to have got missed, and the applicants came to the board seeking a variance for the requirement for sprinkler system for this building.
and there's no cooking, it's all outside catering?
Yes, it is. There is no kitchen on site.
And refresh us, I believe you answered this before, how are you heating this in the wintertime?
It's a propane.
Okay,
It's outdoor tank propane.
yep, okay. And do you
And it's a force air heat.
forced air, and you have a furnace inside the building?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Ellis, do you have any, you have more questions? Either I or the applicant can answer.
Not yet. I'm okay.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
I just have one quick question.
Mr. Garlick, go ahead.
It appears there's a fireplace on the exterior wall next to the bar. Can you explain a little bit about if that is a working, functioning fireplace and what type?
It's a propane fireplace. So I don't know how. It's a propane. It's got a glass in front of it, so there is no open. There is a glass and there's a screen, metal screen on top of the glass. And it's hooked tapped to that tank that is outside. The tank, the propane tank, is on the other side of the wall of where the fireplace is.
Is the fireplace ornamental, as it is decorative, or does it prove?
Yes.
Does it serve
Yes.
for heat?
It's ornamental. It gives some very little heat. It's not the main source whatsoever. It's got those excuse me, colorful rocks, fake logs, and it's like when you have a grill that you cook on, there is like a little tray that gives some flame out.
Okay. Mr. Sutton, can you, I have a question relative to this installation. Did the Code Enforcement Division inspect the fireplace installation for proper, making sure that it was properly installed correctly?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay. Any further questions, board?
Where is the carbon monoxide detector, the CO detector, where is that located?
It's right in front on the ceiling next to the fireplace.
To confirm, you said on the ceiling near the fireplace?
Yes, that's correct.
Is that CO detector tied to your fire alarm system?
Yes, that's correct.
And there's just one CO detector?
I'm not sure. I will have to double check with our with the MNS fire protection company.
Did you put one near the fire, where the boiler room is, outside the door?
There is.
I think there's 6 of them.
I have to double check. I cannot tell you exactly.
Okay.
But when I was talking to the MNS Fire Protection and I asked them if I need to put more detectors and anything like this, they said, no, we are all set. If for some reason they require extra CO2 detectors, we can just plug them into the outlets. That's what I heard last from them. They said they are all done with the installation.
Do you have plans for that fire protection system?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Do you have plans for your alarm system?
Plans like
No, but I can get it from MNS Fire Protection. I'm sure they do.
Yeah, they were submitted to the code enforcement official.
I was wondering if they actually have.
I know that MNS Fire Protection was talking to Bill in Knickerbocker and our local inspectors.
Thank you.
Okay. Any further questions? Okay, well, Mr. Ellis, any further questions from you?
No.
All right, with that, I think we are going to, we're just gonna check one more time, see if did the architect arrive?
Not yet. I texted him, called him. I haven't heard anything back from him.
Okay, do we need anything additional from the architect?
Did, Mr. DiTilio, did the architect submit pictures of anything?
No updated pictures.
No new pictures. I can send it to you right now. I have some pictures of the new construction that has been done.
If you can send those to Mr. DiTilio, that would be helpful.
Yep, I can email those right now.
We'll stay in session until he receives them and distributes them, and then we'll probably going into recess to start deliberation.
Was the board, did you provide, other question, something that came up where you were talking about the fire protective coating that was applied to wood surfaces? Were the specifications for that provided, and the board had asked about some sort of inspection or certification that would indicate that that was done per manufacturer specifications? Was that completed?
No, I have emailed and asked who can we get for that inspection. I haven't heard back. I believe I emailed Mr. DiTilio a couple of weeks ago. So if you could give us any kind of company name or anybody that can do that kind of inspection, I just don't know where to go with that.
Whom did you purchase the protective coating
It's
from?
what's the name? It's out of Texas. Company out of Texas. It's
I can go get the name.
Did you
my
order it?
husband. My husband is going to get the name of it.
Did you order it factory direct or through a local dealer, through a?
No, that was direct from the company, directly from the company, from the manufacturer. My husband is getting the name right now for you.
I want to stop our video because I'm pretty sure you guys don't want them to see your emails.
Well, you can just forward Steve and get them.
I haven't received it yet. Send it.
So here is the name of that company.
On their paperwork, do they list any sort of material standard, ASTM, any sort of acceptance standard in their materials?
It was E84, that's what I know, and it said it's improved by the code. I have called the company, and that was the product that they recommended for the unfinished wood.
Still waiting for your email.
Yes, it should be coming. Check here.
In the service.
What's that?
You're welcome to the service beginning.
This is the picture of the additional door that we have installed next to the fireplace. On that picture, excuse me, on that picture you can see exit sign. There is no pole station yet, but it's already installed. I just didn't take the new picture. I can run down there and take it if you would like to.
Did you submit plans to the code enforcement official about the door before you installed it?
No, I did not.
This is part of the problem I think we're having with this petition is you're doing work on your building without submitting proper plans and getting proper approvals from your code enforcement official. I understand you're anxious to get use of the building, but that doesn't help when you're doing things without proper approval and authorization to the code enforcement official.
Yes, well, we've tried, and well, I don't want to be mean to anybody here, but we've tried. We had different plans done by our architect, and we had the meetings. One of the meetings, the plans weren't stamped yet, but New York, our architect just kind of submitted it, told us to talk to our code enforcement before we stamp it and spend extra money just so they can look at it and let us know if we can go that route or not. And at the meeting, the fire marshal threw the papers across the tables, and he kind of refused to look at them because they weren't stamped yet. So that was one situation, and another situation was that fire marshal was making fun of our architect's age. He's 72 years old, and we were told that at this age, how good can his work can be. So it's kind of, we are in a very, very touchy, very, very sad situation, but working with the code has been very, very difficult with Shenango County. So we kind of reached out to Madison County, which is 2 miles away from us, to give us the guidance and to help us out to do the things. That's why I have a letter that I submitted to you from the Madison County Code Enforcement. We hired him, he came to our building, he looked at it, and he gave us a statement, what is his personal professional opinion about it. So we've been trying since May, and there is nothing but rejection from the county.
Okay. Yes.
Mr. Sutton, can you elaborate on your involvement then with this project and your position?
Yeah, the focus has been since May is to establish an appropriate sprinkler system design. And we looked at originally trying to get calculations on the initial design, which we never received. And then they decided to seek variance and relief from this section of the code, which we supported their steps in doing. We did meet multiple times. They looked at a couple of alternatives. We speaking with their architect's design to change the size of the space to get away from the sprinkler requirement. We had discussions about all that. And I believe I was at the meeting that she was referencing. I don't remember anybody disparaging the architect's age. We can't approve unsigned plans. So that's static. We did all sit around and look at those plans, provide comments and consideration, but you're right that we did not accept and review them as they weren't official. We would be happy to receive the plans on the fire alarm system that was installed. And I think Mr. Corman, who's been trying to access the meeting and has been having some technical trouble, said that he did speak with the vendor, the fire alarm company, but has not received plans yet. We'd be happy to take a look at those, get out and do that inspection, as well as any design for the new door, which I think is an added safety feature for the building. And we'd be happy to take a look at that as well. But we just need that documentation, and I'll get someone right out there to take a look.
We'll be more than happy to provide if we can get a, fair opinion and fair treatment.
Yep, and we, as I said in my statement, I think was discussed maybe before I got on. We want to support small business, and if we can do this safely, whatever the board decides, we will support. And you guys have done a great job. The building looks great. And everyone who's visited has said how cool it is. So we want to see it be successful, but we'd also make sure it's safe. So that's kind of our bottom line.
We 100% agree. We want the building to be safe. Yep.
So yeah, it's your convenience. If you can send us the plans on the alarm system and the plans on the new door, we'll take a look, and then we'll get an inspector out there to look at those components as we move towards the CO.
Thank you.
Speaking for myself, I'm also concerned about the installation of the heating appliances. If their plans were not submitted and inspections were not performed, that the installation was properly done, it would be concerning to us to grant a variance if there's something done that was done outside the required regulations of New York State, particularly properly approved stamped plans, as well as those being submitted to the code enforcement official and those being reviewed and approved prior to any work being performed. That's the process in New York State. And as I understand your concerns about the costs of the architect, but the architect has a duty to provide drawings that are properly designed, as well as stamped and proved that they had met professional standards for design. So everybody is right, but there's a lot of stuff that was still not done here. So I think I'm just stating that for the record so everybody understands. We're not trying to disparage anybody, pointing any fingers, but there are state regulations that Chenango County does have to comply with, and there are regulations that your architect has to comply with, and there are regulations that, as the owners for the property, you are also required to comply with. So I just want to make that part of the record that there's a lot of gaps here. So
absolutely, we will comply with anything that you would like us to do.
Unfortunately, some of the stuff you've done didn't comply already, so that's why we're here. All right. Any further questions? Okay. We haven't heard from your architect. He has not arrived, so we're going to move forward as far as making a decision. So we're going to go into recess. We can go off the record, and that. Okay, well, let me start again since I think we got a little lag. I want to start out saying that before we do a vote on this matter, I think I want to make some things pretty clear. During our deliberations, I think there was a consensus of the board that there was lack of support for a variance. And the reason for our lack of support was because of a lot of concerns we have with this project. particularly that there was work done without proper plans being submitted, inspections were not being performed. And since our previous meeting, additional work was performed without code enforcement approval. I understand that the code enforcement office may have been difficult to deal with. I don't know the specific details of that. I'm just going by the statements of the applicant. We are at this point in time not in a position where I think we could approve a variance at this time. However, in the interest of an opportunity to correct some things that are clearly not done, we are going to table this petition until our February hearing. The purpose of that table is one is so that the code enforcement official and the petition and the design professional can get back on track with, and I call it back in compliance with the requirements for submissions of plans, drawings, and assuring that installations are done properly. We have concerns over the application of the intumescent paint. During our deliberation, we reviewed the product information of which the manufacturer required a trained applicator and with proper equipment to apply the intumescent paint, as well as that person should have knowledge of how to evaluate whether the application was proper. That does not include also having a third party to validate the application. The same thing goes for the fire alarm system that was installed. It was installed without prior approval and plans submitted to the code enforcement official, nor it appears from the record that there were any inspections done for the fire alarms installation and whether the plans were compliant, as well as the installation of the the furnace and the fireplace. We have not heard, or we have heard that the code enforcement officials have not inspected the installation of the fireplace. We do not know, based on the record, whether that was done properly and to manufacturer's recommendation. And we are presuming, and this is a supposition, that this may be the case for the heating system. The board, I think, speaking for myself, but I believe that I've heard other board members, we don't feel that we could grant a variance for a fire safety system when the building may be, unfortunately, due to lack of oversight and proper construction, may not be safe in it as it stands right now. So what we are directing the applicants and the code enforcement officials to do, and we did, and Mr. Sutton, we did receive your letter. We understand your that you do support business, and we take that that you were sincere in that. So we ask that the code enforcement officials and the applicant and the design team get together and work out a plan to take what's already constructed and get as-built documents approved and signed by a design professional, have them properly reviewed, and correct any deficiencies either in design or installation so that this building is code compliant prior to issuance of any variance. We were going to table this, we will vote on that momentarily, until February. All materials will need to be submitted to the state of New York before February 1st so that board members have time to review the documentation. This is while it seems like 2 months is a long time, it actually is not a long time in the number of weeks considering the holidays. But the owners, folks, you have a lot of work to do, and unfortunately, this is going to delay your opening. It's probably going to cost you more money to comply, but most importantly, we want to make sure we have a safe building. And I'm not sure that we feel that you have that situation now. I will also say that frankly, I don't know how this construction of this project progressed so far, and the code enforcement officials didn't take action beforehand to issue appropriate stop work orders so that things would not be made worse. The installation of the door that you did after our last meeting, frankly, is blatant disregard for the regulations of New York State and probably the regulations of Shenango County, which has its own regulations about work being done without permit. So, with that said, our hope is that by tabling this until February, that this situation will be reviewed and properly approved so that we know that if and when we get to that point in February, we know whether we have a safe building or not. In February, this board will take an action one way or the other. We will either grant the variance or deny it. It all depends on the local officials as well as the applicants and the design professional coming together and addressing this board's concerns so that we can properly deliberate and consider a variance. Okay. Any questions from the applicant?
No, we're gonna do our best to get everything done.
Okay. Mr. Sutton, do you have any questions? Do you understand our concerns and where we're at?
You understand, we appreciate your consideration. I know Mr. Gorman was able to join us, and I'm sure he will be in touch with the applicant shortly, even today, to set up a time for our teams to get together as early as next week.
Okay. We, as part of the record, we have asked the Department of State Bureau of Code and Administration to meet with the Code Enforcement Department of Shenango County to review this case specifically because we have some concerns about the process of how we got here. So, okay. With that said, I'm going to make a motion that we table this until our February hearing.
I second.
Okay, Ms. Swistek seconds. I'll pull the board. Mr. Ellis?
Yay.
Okay, Mr. Garlap?
Aye.
Mr. Hinderleiter? Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, and the chair votes aye. We have 5 ayes, no nays. This petition is tabled until February.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Okay, let's see. Can I get somebody want to read or have an MRO case?
We're off the record for that one.
Yep, when we can start, we're going to jump right into our next case, which is in the matter of New Leaf Properties petition number 2022-0575. Just give us a moment, we'll gather our documents. Gail, would you like to do that? Okay.
This word you.
Okay.
What word needs to be fixed?
Just let me know when we're ready to go on the record for that one.
This one's there.
You can go on the record, Daniel.
Number 1.
We're on the record now.
Thank you. Okay. Yep. Yes. Okay. And do we have a motion?
I make a motion.
Okay, Ms. Swistek's making a motion.
In the matter of petition for Walter Morrissey of New Leaf Properties for a variance to the New York State Chapter 61B of the Consolidated Laws of New York Municipal Residential Law, petition number 2022-0575. Upon the application of Walter Morrissey of New Leaf Properties, 188 Main Street, New York Mills, New York, filed pursuant to 19 NYCRR 1205 on October 18th of 2022, and upon all other papers in the matter, the department makes the following determination. The petition pertains to an existing mixed-use building with 2 retail commercial spaces on the first floor and 9 dwelling units on the second and third floor. Wood frame type 5B combustible construction located at 1579 Elm Street, City of Utica, County of Oneida, State of New York. The public notice was published in the New York State Register November 7th, 2022 issue. Relief is requested from Chapter 61B of the Consolidated Laws of New York, Municipal Residential Law, Article 3, Section 31, inside cellar stairs, which requires that every stair leading from a cellar to a floor above in all old municipal dwellings shall be enclosed with fire retardant partitions and shall be equipped with a fire-rated self-closing door located as the department may approve. The fire inspection report states that the base stairway shall be replaced according to the code. The owner would like to retain the existing door as the door has been modified to allow for a sprinkler head located at the top of the stairs. 1, the building that is subject to the petition is properly classified under Chapter 61B of the Consolidated Laws of New York, Municipal Residential Law, Article 1, Section 433, as multiple dwelling. 2, the building that is subject of this petition conforms to the New York State Municipal Residential Law, Article 2, Section 9, buildings converted or altered, which states, Part 5, it shall be unlawful to convert a frame dwelling to a multiple residence, except that the frame dwelling, not more than 2 stories, and attic in height and erected before July 1st, 1952, as a 1 or 2 family residence, may be converted to a multiple dwelling for permanent occupancy by complying with Article 3, and if such residence is converted to be occupied. Number 3, the subject building is required to conform to the provisions of Article 3 of the Municipal Residential Law as provided in Section 25, in that it existed on July 1st, 1952, or was converted to multiple dwelling after July 1st, 1952, and is not a hotel or similar dwelling subject to Article 4 of the Municipal Residential Law. Number 4, the petitioner states that Section 31 requires that the interior cellar stairs to the basement required to be enclosed with fire-rated partition and equipped with fire-retardant self-closing doors located as the fire department approves the existing door. Photo note, the existing cellar door has been modified to allow for the sprinkler head located at the top of the stairs. Number 5, the petitioner has stated that the basement has smoke and carbon monoxide detectors present and are connected to the alarm system, which notifies the residents and is connected to a third-party monitor, shall be repaired and returned back to service. Number 6, the applicant has installed an alternative in the form of electrically wired smoke and heat detecting alarms interconnected to signaling devices on each story, connecting to alarm panel that would provide early warning in the event of a fire or related emergency. Signal is sent to a third party, which then notifies the local authorities. The proposed variance will not substantially adversely affect the law's provisions for health, safety, and security. Strict compliance would entail partial difficulties, unnecessary hardship, or would otherwise be unwarranted because such would be unnecessary in light of alternatives which, without a loss in the level of safety, achieved and intended objects of the law. Wherefore, it is determined that the application for the variance from Chapter 61B of the Consolidated Laws of New York Municipal Residential Law, Article 3, Section 31, be and is hereby granted with the following conditions. Number 1, that the basement door leading to the cellar or basement stairs shall be replaced with the C-label fire-rated door with closure to meet the UL rating of a 45-minute door with closures. Number 2, modify the existing sprinkler head so that the head is located in the stairway shaft. The decision is limited to the specific building and application before it as contained within the petition and should not be interpreted to give implied approval of any general plans or specifications presented in support of this application. I so move.
We have a motion to a second.
Second?
Still, 1/3 seconds. Hold the board, Mr. Ellis.
Aye.
Mr. Garlock.
Yeah.
Mr. Lewis.
Yeah.
Aye.
Swistak. The chair votes aye. 5 ayes, no nays. Petition is granted. Okay, we're going to move on to our next case. And we are now going to hear.
I just have
matter
to,
of-
I'm gonna go off the record and start a new record.
Okay.
Just one moment.
Let us know when you're ready, Daniel.
Okay, I will. Let me just switch over.
I'm going to send you the multiple references.
On the record.
Okay, we are now going to hear the petition in the matter of Center petition number 2022-0602. For the record, Ms. Swistak is accusing herself and has left the hearing because of a conflict of interest in that she works for the city of Syracuse, which is the authority having jurisdiction. In this hearing, Ms. Jackie Coons, as well as Mr. Andy Ellis, will be hearing the petition from the Albany office via WebEx, and will be voting members of the board as we hear this hearing. Okay, and can we have the applicant for a board?
Yeah.
When you come to the podium, like state your name and your address, and then please give us a summary of what you're asking for.
Absolutely.
The details. Do you have any presentation do you make? Or-
I have a visual exhibit that I'll distribute, but otherwise I don't have a.
Okay, you could leave that here?
I can.
Okay, so any documents
Yeah. Everything, and I emailed it to Tom earlier today, so there's a digital copy.
Okay,
But,
so you have, all
in
right,
case the other we share.
so they'll be part of the records.
Yeah.
We actually, and if you refer to these drawings, I'll just describe them as far as what drawing they are. And unfortunately, we have two applicants who are two members of the board who are not here. Tom, did we send these to?
I don't believe I sent.
Okay, can you send these to Andy and Jackie?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Because we have remote members, we're gonna go a little slower.
Absolutely.
Make sure they.
Yeah, that was my purpose of sending the digital copy, was to make sure that they could get it.
So it would be exhibit 4. This, oh, this one. Those. Yep.
They've been sent, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Andy and Jackie should be receiving an email from Tom with the drawings that we're looking at.
I got it.
It's just two graphics,
Okay.
really. Just to illustrate something I want to discuss verbally.
Okay. All right, go ahead and,
Yeah, so I'm Andrew Schuster, registered architect. Address is 125 East Jefferson Street, Syracuse, New York. And I am the architect for the project. The owner is Acropolis Center LLC, which is the owner of, that is actually located at 115 East Jefferson Street, which is the mailing address of the building. The street address is 333 South Salina Street. So we are petitioning to increase the maximum height in Building Code New York State Table 504.4 of an A2 occupancy from 3 stories to 4 stories. The intention of the project is to build a vertical extension of the existing building to construct a rooftop bar and event space. The enclosed area of the rooftop bar is approximately 7,500 square feet. There's also a roof deck that will be used for events during the nice weather. But per building code, the area in question doesn't include the roof decks. The building itself is approximately 22,000 square feet, I believe 21,700 square feet per floor. And in Exhibit 2, building code summary, which a revised version was sent because I noticed a math error. The building is, the allowable area of the building is 95,760 square feet, and the actual area of the building is 75,000, give or take. So just in terms of kind of summarizing the request, the request does not exceed the tabular height in feet in 504.3, does not exceed the floor area in 506.2.4, nor the building area in 506.2.4. The building contains B occupancy and M occupancy currently. This addition would contain an A2 occupancy, the bar, as well as some support spaces. The building is a type 2 building, fully sprinklered, and the sprinkler system's been modified a few times, but is in good condition. I was there looking at it yesterday, 2 days ago. So the addition is intended to also be type 2B construction. And one item that I want to note is that due to the structural constraints of the building, we have to build like a dunnage platform and construct the addition on that. So there's about a 5-foot interstitial space between the existing roof and the vertical expansion to accommodate that transfer structure. That interstitial space will be fully enclosed as part of the building. It'll be heated and sprinklered, and we intend to provide applied fireproofing to the steel, as well as a 1-hour floor slab to separate from the space below. In support of the request, I've provided this graphic, and it's to illustrate a reference that if currently the request is for an A2 addition above the occupancy, above an office space. If the space below this vertical expansion were a 15,000 square foot restaurant instead, which there is space for, then we would be able to classify this as a mezzanine. It has 2 exits, not required to be open to the below. and in which case this would be permitted as of right. So the intent of the code is to keep people safe, to ensure that in a 2B building that the occupant can exit the building before there's a structural failure. And our request, we don't consider to be less safe than another configuration that would be allowable in the code, which would be as a separated mezzanine above the space. The building is configured in a way that we could put a single open restaurant space on that floor below. We don't intend to, but as a reference point, it would be a possible and allowable approach.
We have,
And Andrew, can you spell your last name for the record, please?
Yes, Schustter.
Thank you.
Danielle,
this is Tom Clerk from Department of State. What Mr. Schuster just submitted us will be known as Exhibit 6.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? I couldn't hear.
Yes, what the architect has submitted, the paperwork, the display, will be known as Exhibit 6.
Okay.
so,
You didn't get it?
on Exhibit 6, the enclosed space,
He has to talk.
not shown that while you have closed, you also have a deck that's also assembled space that is far larger than 7,500, that expands the 7,500 square feet to a larger area.
It does, and it made it the visual representation was very unclear that way, so I put it in, I put the enclosed area.
Well, you are correct, but if you add in the raised concrete slab for your occupied, it's greater than 7,500.
It is.
You couldn't use it as a mezzanine.
Well, the 503.1.4 indicates that the roof level or portion thereof permitted to be used as an occupied roof shall not be included in the building area as regulated by 506.
So essentially, you don't put a roof, but your occupancy would be far greater than 7,500.
That's correct, and we have egress capacity to support it, as well as remote egress.
I don't know about the opinion or practice of others and that. I understand the connection you're making with the definition of what a mezzanine is. I think that's a little bit of a stretch in this situation. A mezzanine, well, pure definition, you do have a ceiling inside that room.
Mm-hmm.
There is not a ceiling over the remainder of the floor area. So when you're making this comparison of if you were to put a restaurant, hypothetically, 15,000 square foot restaurant, and this could be a mezzanine within it, a mezzanine by definition implies a story ceiling, a story floor with an intermittent space in between it,
Mm-hmm.
and your ceiling stops in your hypothetical. It stops within that 7,500 square foot.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand the connection you're making. I think it's a slight misapplication of the intention of what a mezzanine is meant to do
Mm-hmm.
and how that interacts with a building holistically.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my only comment on the idea of a mezzanine versus this being an additional story.
Mm-hmm.
Is that if I think that the way I've understood mezzanines to function
Mm-hmm.
is that they are all contained within what we would define as the story.
Right, and I recognize that. The purpose of that comparison is that in that instance, the occupants would still have the same egress capability they do now. There'd be no change in the life safety protection in that configuration over what we're proposing.
Mr. Ellis, do you have any questions?
Not yet.
Do we know when the last time the sprinkler system was inspected and tested?
It has been tested annually. The inspection tags are on the shutoff valve.
And with the additional.
They go back to 1995, so they.
Okay.
Annually.
Okay. The current system, is it a dry system, wet system?
It's a wet system.
The wet system. Has an analysis been done that the extension of said system would be sufficient into this proposed area?
We have not done the hydraulic analysis yet. We would. I was submitting for a building permit.
I noticed in one elevation drawing provided that there is an existing, it looks like an existing 1 hour horizontal barrier between the addition and the existing building.
It would be new. It'd be
Just a new barrier?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you speak to, I know you're approaching this, at this occupancies being non-separated. I understand that the third floor is entirely a B occupancy. Can you speak to the occupancies of the first and second stories and what the horizontal separations between those floors are?
Right. So the first story is mercantile. It is storefronts on Salina Street. And a lobby for the second and third floor on Jefferson Street. The second floor is all B occupancy. It's an office space for the Central New York Legal Aid Society. And the third floor is all B occupancy. About 10,000 square feet is occupied by the petitioner, the owner of the building, and the remainder is currently unoccupied leasable space that is also B occupancy.
Okay, and the existing floor assemblies, those do not comply with any type of separation?
Not that I can speak to in an authoritative way. They are a semi-enclosed steel. Some areas have concrete cast around them, but not all of them. And then it is a gypsum concrete deck in between. It's an archaic assembly. There's no historical information as to what it was considered in terms of fire separation. And so I didn't want to make assumptions around it. So we classified it as non-separated.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Coons, do you have any questions for the applicant?
Not at this time.
Excuse me, how much space did you say is available on the third floor?
Available right now is. I thought it was like 700. There's a 15-foot wide corridor that could be made narrower and added to the leasable space, but the total unused, unoccupied space in the second floor is around 10,000 square feet, or third floor.
Okay, thank you.
There's some questions that were brought up around the separation between this building and the building adjacent to it. I believe it's north side.
The open lot.
Well, what? Sorry.
Here.
There's an empty lot that used to be a building there.
Party walls.
Yeah, so we had shown a 2-hour party wall. The city corrected us that it needs to be a 3-hour. So we provided the 3-hour party wall in the application.
It's not a, is it structurally, is it shared with adjacent?
No.
Building? What is it? Is it a firewall or park?
It's a party wall. At one time, there was a building there. That building collapsed a few years ago and has been demolished.
So in anticipating the building ever get put back there, we're putting the 3 hour separation is gonna be put
Correct.
in order to allow another building to build there if they would.
Right. I mean, the building code says that if it's abuts the lot line, it needs to be built as party wall. So
Right. That's why, so it is on the,
it's on the line. There would be an extension of the existing masonry wall.
The elevator, will it be extended to this area? Is that,
It will. The shaft already goes to the area, but it is the elevator mechanical room and the overrun. So we would need to add about 8 feet to it in order to accommodate additional overrun.
so
The current elevator in that shaft's not active, so we would be needing to modernize it regardless.
is that 8 feet included in your overall building height?
Yes.
The 68 foot 10 inches includes the 8?
Yeah, the 68 foot 10 inches is to the top of that kind of greenhouse structure, which is taller than the elevator overrun.
so the raised 5-foot mezzanine is only gonna be under the occupied roof deck and the 4th floor closed space.
Correct.
So the rest of the roof is,
Remaining as a roof. And architecturally.
Sorry, could you repeat that last statement?
Sorry about that, yeah. So the raised structure to support the vertical expansion is only under the areas that will be occupied, the rooftop terrace and the enclosed building. The remainder of the roof will remain as is and visually screened because it contains mechanical equipment that's unsightly.
in the 5-foot mezzanine, you're going to, or excuse me, the interstitial space. You're gonna do is to a construction, spraying on it, everything?
So
What are you
we're going to do 2A for the horizontal construction and the areas of vertical support that are accessible. So I don't want to call it a 2A structure because the structure above it we don't intend to fire protect, and the structure to the foundation is not accessible to us to fire protect all the way down. So we will protect that horizontal assembly, but
Are there any exposed columns through the building going to?
there are in places, but for the most part, they're wrapped in drywall enclosures, but they're not fire protective enclosures. Right now, they're buried in office partitions. They're wrapped in cosmetic drywall enclosures, gypsum board enclosures, things like that. But I have no record of any sort of structural protection rating for those, so I am considering them unprotected. But the exposure is very limited to only a couple of locations.
Stairwell construction, so
It's a glazed CMU. The existing stairwells.
existing stairwells. How thick is the CMU?
In the existing drawings that I have, it's 8 inches. They're not from
Oh,
the,
so.
it's unclear, so I have not opened the wall up more.
And no sheathing or interior, exterior on.
There is on the room side, the outside of the shaft, in the renovated spaces on the first, second, and third floors. But in the shaft, it's still the glazed block. The stairs have 44 inches clear currently in this, and then except for the south stair that would only really be an exit for the rooftop area, which is actually 60 inches. But so if we were to sheathe the inside of that shaft, we would encroach on the clear space of the stair.
Is that elevator large enough to carry a stretcher?
It is.
What's the life safety plan in the event of a power failure?
Do you have a refuge area for people who can't get down the stairs? What is our plan?
So in the event of power failure, we need to provide backup power to the elevator, so that it can function as an accessible means of egress. We have not constructed that elevator lobby as a refuge area, but we can. It would not be a problem for the building function.
So the building currently does not have backup power.
Um,
So as part of this, you would introduce backup power for the elevator?
Correct. We would need to, otherwise we would not have accessible means of egress.
Okay.
Just a quick question about the structural feasibility. Appears it's project's designed to a schematic level. Has the structural analysis been completed of
It has.
the existing structure that it can
Yes.
support the?
So it's kind of a strange building. So the basement and first floor have a 30-foot column spacing. And then at the floor of the second floor, there's a transfer structure. And above that, in one direction, the column spacing has been reduced to 12 feet. And so on that 30-foot module, we have columns that go all the way to the basement and can support the loads. The intermediate columns cannot. And so in order to have a structure that can support the loads that we're talking about, we need to bridge to that 30-foot module and utilize the columns that go to the basement. And the analysis has been done on truss columns. In fact, it was originally analyzed for a multi-story expansion, and we decided to do this instead.
But as part of this, the elevator, you stated that the elevator access will be located in an existing freight elevator shaft, will be modernized to provide an accessible means of egress. So the elevator will be replaced 100% and brought up to today's standard.
Yeah, I don't think it functions at all right now.
Yeah, the original building was built in 1947, and it's around that time it's got not functioning.
Okay.
I'm sorry, who was speaking when they were just?
I'm sorry.
Sorry, come forward and state your name and your address.
Apologies, my name is Ryan Benz. I am a partner in Acropolis Center LLC's applicant, and we've owned the building for about 3 years. The question was related to the existing elevator shaft, and is that elevator currently being used? And I stated, no, the building itself was built in 1947, and I think the elevator is from around that time. So we would intend to fully replace the mechanics and the elevator shaft itself with a stretcher compliant elevator.
Ryan, can you give your address too?
Address is 115 East Jefferson Street, Suite 300, Syracuse, New York, 13202.
And whoever's speaking now, because I can't see anyone else in the room besides you 3 board members, so I won't be able to distinguish who's speaking because they're not on camera for me.
So would you like us to state our name before we say anything?
Please, yes.
Sorry, I'm just reviewing some communication.
So for it.
Okay, for the moment, you have nothing more. We're going to talk to Mr. Thompson, code enforcement official. Sure. Have some communications from him.
Hi, good morning. Before I get started, I just want to offer my condolences to the loss of your member. It's been a while since I've seen you, but Mr. Harab is no longer with us, and it was a pleasure to have known him and worked along with him. So with that said, my name is Brian Thompson. Danielle, I sent you a message with my information before I came over in case you need any spelling, but my address is 201 East Washington Street, Syracuse, New York, 13202. I sent a couple of items I'd like to clarify through emails for additional information that were sent. One was Mr. DiTullio had sent me an email earlier this week, along with the architect of record, to establish maybe what the occupancy classifications were in the building. I was kind of corrected on that. There is an open permit for an A occupancy in the basement for a live music venue. That permit has been issued, but the work has not yet been completed. I verified that with the inspector today. I don't know where that progress stands. So I do want to just clarify that. When this was proposed, and I apologize that my first letter that you might have from me was a little rushed because I thought this was actually being heard last month and I had a date to respond.
Okay.
My concern kind of is the same today, and that is to build this building, to build this addition, to make this meet code, the building would have to be fully sprinkled. That's already a given. The building is fully sprinkled. It would have, our best assumption is it was done sometime around the time of original construction, but definitely before our records start to exist in the 1980s that refer to an existing sprinkler system. At the time, it would have been, the effective code would have been, if it was installed at the time of original construction, would have been the Syracuse building code, the building code of the city of Syracuse, 1930, although that's amended a couple times a year, but not with any material information. That code would have required compliance with NFPA standard. I don't know what the NFPA standard would have been in the late 1940s, but that's our best assumption of what might exist today. So that was a question asked by Mr. DiTullio, and I just wanted to kind of clarify my response with those items.
And was that still Mr. Thompson speaking?
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you.
In terms of the proposal, if you were to build this new today, outside of any type of special construction or heavy timber construction, which are both very unique to themselves, you wouldn't be able to build this building without a fire resistance rating of load-bearing walls, structural frame, and floors throughout the building. So an addition is not supposed to create a nonconformity, but we're here today because there's always unique circumstances. I don't know whether this is going to be safe or not safe. I'm just here to, I think it's a great idea that there could be a bar on the fourth floor. I think it's a great location. You're right across the street from the Landmark Theater. But in terms of actual safety, if I compare that, my basis is what the code permits or what the code standards are, the minimum standard, I think this kind of isn't a concrete argument that I can support, but I don't want to oppose it in any way. I want to leave that to the board to make that decision whether it's equally as safe, and that's kind of what my thoughts are. Is there's something missing with fire resistance ratings. Although they did offer the 1 hour between the third and the fourth floor, I'm not sold that that's, without supporting that to the foundation or all the way down that load path, I'm not really sure what that proves other than I have, a weaker link that's going to maybe compromise that. I don't think it's a safety issue in terms of getting people out of the building if you were to approve it. I think obviously it's a bar, so there's going to be some level of intoxication up there. But I think for the most part, hopefully people can get out. My concern would be more related to the responders that would be showing up if there was a fire event to occur. The people that are going to be entering the building as everybody else is leaving, that should normally be afforded that fire resistance rating, that passive fire resistance rating of the the structural frame. I don't know if you have any specific questions for me beyond that. Unfortunately, Chief Davis, the fire chief, cannot be here today. The question that he had is, and this was conveyed to the petitioner, was that the is kind of establishing the aerial apparatus access distance requirements off Salina Street. Based on Google Maps, it kind of was from the face of the building to the road, about 25-ish feet, or to the, I'm sorry, it's building to the curb, but there is on-street parking there. We don't have the exact dimensions. We were hoping to kind of get that and address that. He would like to see the aerial apparatus off Salina. And I don't know if that would further need any type of slight variance for any of the dimensional requirements set forth in Appendix D of the fire code.
You said if this building was built new, you couldn't build a 3-story 2B building for
a 4-story.
Right, for 4-story, but if it's a 3-story.
3-story, you could build.
The building is existing as it stands right now.
Oh, yes. Today you could build that new.
Okay.
Well, I'm sorry, I meant with the 4th floor addition.
Gotcha. Oh, correct.
Apologize if I was on.
No, you had me confused. I'm like, okay, you can go up 4 stories and you go to type it in 2A construction.
Correct.
I understand. Okay.
Yeah, I mean.
And we're and years in this. So the plans for this building are for continued mercantile on the 1st floor and B occupancy on the 2nd and 3rd floor. Are we going to go to housing? I guess somewhere along the line, maybe I was confused. Maybe that's apologizing back one of my questions. I thought there was something said about this going to be used for residential.
So this is Andrew Schuster, the petitioner. There are no intentions of any residential use in the building. There is another building on the same tax parcel. That building is fully separated from this one, including separate foundation. It was constructed entirely as a separate building. That building has a single residential unit in it.
Okay.
There's no, they're separated by a firewall, or a fire rated party wall, and there's no communication or shared anything between the two buildings. There are no future intent. There is no future intent for any residential use in the building.
And the one concern I have about the sprinkler system is the sprinkler building was built in the 1940s. There are things that apply to a fully sprinkled building that you can't build that today.
Right.
Even on the older, because they allowed smaller pipe sizes.
So the
certain elements of the design.
There's no configuration in the interior configuration of the building that is older than the 1980s. The building has been renovated through multiple cycles, and any of the sprinkler system that I was able to see visually, including the main service riser into the building, was installed in 2008. So I'm assuming that was a repair, but there's nothing remaining in the sprinkler system except for the service entrance from the original construction of the building.
Have you had internal inspections? I mean, there's got to be some documentation if there's work done in 2008 to replace the sprinkler system, unless it was done without a work permit.
ABJ did the work. They've got all the maintenance tags on there. I would assume they filed permits for them. I was not able to locate them since the question was asked.
Mr. Thompson, do you have any records of sprinkler work in
This is Brian Thompson. We have multiple permits, nothing that would suggest that the entire system was replaced at any given time. But there are multiple sprinkler permits that were issued since 1980 that we can confirm. I don't know specifically what any of them are off the top of my head, but there were a number of them. Some seem to be smaller projects, some seem to be larger. Some seem to correlate when a business went in or space was reconfigured, but nothing that again would suggest that it was completely placed in one fell swoop.
Oh, okay, and any records of any internal inspections of the sprinkler systems in your normal inspection processes?
That's managed by the fire department. I'm just not, I don't have that information. It's something I could ask that it be sent over to you, but obviously that doesn't help us at this moment.
Okay, thank you.
This is Ryan Beds, again, owner of the property. I just wanted to mention, when the building was built in the 1940s, it was originally built as a retail store. It was originally a Kmart and a Crudge's back in that time period. The whole building was repositioned in the 1980s to become an office building. So that's where the bulk of the work really originated from. So I only bought it a few years ago, but I just wanted to mention the fact that that's when it was significantly.
My concern for these questions on the sprinkler system is fully sprinkled is a relative fact of observation. Doesn't mean we have performance that the sprinkler system will perform as an expected fully sprinkler building. So I have to ask those questions for my peace of mind. And obviously I'm an advocate for the fire department, and they're the ones that are going to have to respond. And if the systems are not working or not functioning as they should for a fully sprinkler building.
So, Andrew Schuster, the architect, I have no concern about any sort of requirement associated to this petition that we have the sprinkler design confirmed and checked and fully analyzed. I'm not comfortable myself saying, let's just assume that what's there is okay.
Okay. Yeah, I think that would be certainly, as we talked about that would be a condition in my mind that would need to have a mechanical engineer, proper terms, recalculations, particularly the service and the feeds and everything else. As you're going to raise the standpipe system. And all those things are going to require more water.
Understood.
Affects the systems.
Potentially the new system on the fourth story, that will have to be 2020 code compliant.
Correct.
And its water demand and usage will likely be different than the water demand of the floors beneath it. And so if, when dealing with the existing building code, it's New York State's goal to do the best we can to reuse what we have versus constantly be trying to tear down what we have if the cost is just astronomical. But that being said, if we're adding on this fourth story, it may require work where you may have to have additional services brought up through your work area, through your egress, all of that to get anything associated to make that space safe. That you're going to expand your work area from just that roof area down through those exit areas, the elevator, all those things.
We will have to expand our work area beyond that regardless, because we will have to create a ground floor entrance to this space that is accessible to that elevator. So the work area will contain minimal or level 1 alteration or level 2 alteration on floors 1, 2, and 3. Actually, no, floors 1 and 4 really, because the modernization doesn't require us to do any work on 2 and 3 because it's not in use for those floors. But we understand that may require an upgrade. That the existing riser appears to be a 10-inch riser. It's a big pipe.
You mean the service?
The service entrance, yeah. So I'd be surprised if there's not capacity, but at the same time, I can't assure that, and we would be upgrading what we need to be upgraded.
Let's pull the board for any other questions. Mr. Ellis, any questions?
No.
Ms. Coons, any questions?
I didn't see it anywhere in the application. Is there an estimated occupancy load for the addition?
I don't have it on hand.
200, 100, over 300?
It was less than 400. I think it was around 360.
Thank you.
That included the outside.
Yes.
And Mr. Blank, any questions?
No. And I can follow up digital if you need with that occupancy count, or I can look it up right now. I have the data, I just haven't.
You can provide that and send that to Mr. Julio.
Sure will.
Anybody else have comments about this project? Hearing none, we are going to go into deliberation. So we're going to recess. We can go off the record.
Off the record.
Thank you. eye effects. Listen to that.
Danielle, we're coming soon.
Yes, we can go back on the record.
Oh, we can go back on the record.
We're on the record.
Okay, we are now reopening the hearing in the matter of petition 2022-0602, Propolis Center LLC. Before we start, just one clarification. Are there standpipes in this building currently?
Andrew Schuster, I don't believe there are currently standpipes in the building.
Okay. Okay. One of the things that when we look at variances, is we look for mitigations. We're always looking for something that makes the building as safe as we can without being extraordinarily harsh. One of the two things we were focused on is the fire protection system. Obviously, you saw previous emails, just concerns, we certainly brought that up. And in deliberation, it also came up talking about a standpipe system. There's a building in New York State built today, over 30 feet tall, it's got to have a standpipe system. And it can be integral as part of the sprinkler system. You know, it further makes this building more like what we expect. And I have to say, when I first walked into this after reading it, my feelings were not positive towards this, but as I listened to your arguments and your proposal, thought about what we're really trying to achieve here is taking an existing building and creating a new, more economic development. But we also want it to be safe. We've heard Mr. Thompson talk. We know that Chief Davis's concerns in the past on buildings is we're trying to make the best opportunity there to have a safe building, but not be horribly an economic impact to do this. So I think we reached a position that we feel is gives you what you're looking for, and at the same time achieves kind of a level of safety that I think I would say when I leave the board meeting, personally, I want to make sure I go home and not be worrying about some decision made that we think bad. But I also don't want to make you do something, jump so many hoops that it's just not feasible. So I think we've got to a point that go ahead. I've done your agreements. So without, do we have a motion?
We do. The petition pertains to a variance seeking relief for constructing a fourth floor addition to contain a restaurant, bar, and rooftop deck, construction type 2B, 4 stories in height, to be known as the Acropolis Center, located at 333 South Salina Street, City of Syracuse, County of Onondaga, New York State. The petitioner is seeking relief from 19 NYCRR Part 1221, the Building Code, Section 504, Table 504.4, which states that an occupancy of A2 restaurant, the allowable number of stories for a 2B type construction sprinklered building is 3 stories maximum. The petitioner is seeking relief for a variance to construct a rooftop restaurant over approximately 45% of the existing 3-story building. Findings of fact. 1. Subject petition pertains to relief for constructing a 4th floor addition to contain a restaurant, bar, and rooftop deck to be known as the Acropolis Center, located at 333 South Salina Street, City of Syracuse, County of Onondaga, New York State. 2. The building subject of the petition is properly classified per Part 1221, Section 602.2, Type 2B, non-combustible, unprotected construction. 3. The building subject of the petition is of mixed occupancy and is properly classified per Part 1221, Section 303.3, Assembly Group A2 Restaurant, and Section 304.1 Business B Offices. 4. The building subject of the petition is 3 stories, sprinklered, consisting of 21,700 square feet per floor, totaling 86,800 square feet, including the basement area. Allowable tabular value T506.2 for A2 occupancy, 2B construction, maximum allowable area per floor is 28,500 square feet. B occupancy, 2B construction, maximum allowable tabular area 69,000 square feet per floor. 5. The petitioner has submitted floor plan drawing Exhibit 5, which depicts a proposed rooftop addition of approximately 7,700 square feet, type 2B construction, with approximately 1,000 square feet of roof deck. 6. The petitioner states in the narrative Exhibit 1 that the existing building is 3-story fully sprinklered type 2B building, constructed of unprotected steel columns and beams with concrete floor decks. 6A, clarification on the sprinkler system is as follows. 1. The building was constructed between 1946 and 1950. At the time, the property was assigned a different address of 335 to 55 South Salina Street, and it also appears the address has changed more than one time since, which makes locating records complicated and ripe for omission. They've been unable to locate multiple records, but none of which definitively dates the sprinkler system. However, an elevation detail specifying a, quote, Siamese fire connection, unquote, on the original plans, coupled with records from a renovation that took place in 1980 that speaks of maintaining the existing sprinkler system, suggests that the system was most likely installed at the time of original construction, but almost definitely prior to 1980. 2, if installed at the time of the building's original construction, the building code of the city of Syracuse would be the effective code. Although we can locate multiple sprinkler permits since 1980, nothing has yet been located that would suggest that the system was completely replaced, rather that portions are repaired or modified due to an alteration that has occurred. It is the city of Syracuse's belief that the sprinkler system does extend throughout the building based on both county records and previous information provided from design professionals. Finding 7. The petitioner states in the narrative of Exhibit 1 that the ground floor contains N occupancy retail storefronts and related back-of-house space. The second and third floor contain B occupancy office suites. 8. The petitioner states in narrative Exhibit 1 that there are 4 exit stairwells from the building, 3 of which are fully enclosed. 2 elevators serve the building. 9. The petitioner states in the narrative Exhibit 1 that the planned rooftop restaurant space would add a 4th story to the building. The restaurant is an A2 occupancy, which is limited to 3 stories per New York State Building Code 2020, Table 504.4. 10. The petitioner states in Exhibit 1 that the requested variance would increase the maximum height of a Type 2 building with A2 occupancy to 4 stories to accommodate this intended work. The occupancies of business, residential, and storage occupancies of all Type 2 buildings to be constructed to a height of 4 to 6 stories. 11. The petitioner states that the 3-story maximum is the only condition that requires relief. The code reviewed provided notes that the building's actual area is approximately 2/3 of the allowed area. 50% more egress exits have been provided. See code reviewing Exhibit 2. 12. The petitioner states that the intended vertical expansion will be constructed of non-combustible construction and will provide a new concrete slab, creating a 2-hour rated separation from the stories below from the proposed restaurant. See building drawing Exhibit 4. 13. The petitioner states in narrative Exhibit 1 that the intended travel distances 183 and 147 feet respectively, are less than the maximum allowed of 250 feet. 2 exits. 14, the petitioner states that the intended vertical expansion is adjacent to the street and easily accessible by fire apparatus as noted in the aerial satellite photo, Exhibit 3. 15, the petitioner states in narrative Exhibit 1 that the local code official has been consulted in this matter and does not support nor oppose the granting of the variance as noted in the code enforcer's letter under Part 1205. Conclusion. In view of the above findings, testimony, and documentation presented before it, the board finds that strict compliance with the code would entail practical difficulties, unnecessary hardship, or would otherwise be unwarranted because such would not achieve its intended objective or would be unnecessary in light of alternatives which, without a loss in the level of safety, achieve the intended objective of the code. That the granting of this variance will not substantially adversely affect the Uniform Code's provisions for health, safety, and security. Wherefore, it is then determined that the application for a variance from 19 NYCRR Part 1221, Section 504, Table 504.5, be and is hereby proposed to be granted with the following condition. 1. The existing fire sprinkler system shall be investigated to verify the existing system meets or exceeds Section 903.3.1.1 and Section 905.3 of the Fire Code of New York State, and any deficiencies will be corrected. This decision is limited to the specific building and application before it as contained within the petition and should not be interpreted to give implied approval of any general plans or specifications presented in support of this application. I so move.
I'd like to offer, I'm going to second this, but I'm going to offer a friendly amendment that it should also say fire sprinkler system and standpipe system. So I don't know if there was, we didn't know if there was. So, Mr. Inlighter made motion, I second, full board. Mr. Ellis?
Aye.
Ms. Coons?
Aye.
Mr. Garlock? Aye. Mr. Inlighter?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. 5 ayes, no nays. Petition's granted with condition.
May I comment?
Yes.
Andrew Schuster, the motion read indicated that the petition had a 2-hour separation horizontal assembly. The petition indicates a 1-hour horizontal assembly between the B and.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think that's what his drawing did say.
Right, we'll have to revise that.
We'll revise that, yeah.
I'm sorry, who was that speaking?
It was Andrew Schuster.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it was a typo in them. We put 2 hours, 1 hour. Apologize. I saw that in your notes. And I didn't.
Yeah,
Okay. We corrected it in the record.
Yep.
And so for the record, we corrected where it says finding 12 has been corrected from 2 hour to 1 hour. Okay, that's all the business the board has today. Mr. Thompson has one question. Okay, Mr. Thompson, come forward.
Sorry. Brian Thompson, I just have one question, and that is specific to that 1 hour separation. Is it just that horizontal separation be, or the floor of the 4th floor be rated to 1 hour without any protection under it?
I think as stated in testimony, how you're going to protect it with, but it's going to be a 1 hour rating.
1 hour, but then none of the structural frame. So I don't know if that also needed relief.
In your testimony, did you? No, I don't think. Whatever you're going to have to do per code, all other aspects of the code are going to have to be implemented. So whatever.
To refresh my testimony.
Yeah.
We intend to have applied fireproofing to the horizontal supporting structure and a concrete slab to create the 1 hour horizontal assembly. It is not feasible for us to provide fireproofing to any of the vertical structure. It's currently inaccessible and in tenant spaces that would be extremely disruptive.
Right. So below the deck, it's not going to be.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify for just my own in reviewing it that it is what you intended to approve.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, that as he stated his testimony, I understood what he was doing just in the interstitial space where they were putting the protection.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. Hearing no further business, we are going to adjourn. Thank you.
Off the record.
Thank you.